for those of you who don't know, Vernard's opponent, well, Vernard's real opponent, tried to block Sheena's training in Hazel Crest. Her training. So, an active, I can say this because I'm not working for anybody, but try to block an OFA training in the South Suburbs. It would have been the only OFA training in the South Suburbs, and for whatever reason, for his own personal political reasons, sit down. Decided that he would organize some kind of protest and try to shut it down. Anyway, so not everybody agrees with the goals of what we're trying to do, at least in the ways that I define it, okay? But I just thought I'd mention that. So, welcome, Vernard.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? First, I'd like to thank Victoria for having this meeting and give us a chance to really come out and speak to you about my running for the village trustee of the Village of Hazel Crest. I'm a trustee now. I'm running for re-election. This will be my third term. I do have a lot of opposition, not from only my opponents, but from our mayor. And he's not running. He's also had phone calls to state representatives telling them to stay out the race or else. He's called our senator and told them to stay out the race or else. And it's funny that you would tell people to stay out of the race, and these are people you ask to help you in your community. And these are the same people that supported you in the past. So I guess that me running for village trustee is something that he does not like. He supports a group called the No Tax Party. This is the same group who voted themselves a $15,000 raise. Our salaries were $3,000, $4,000 a year. They went from $4,000 to $15,000, and his salary went from $8,000 to $30,000 a year. And I opposed that. I thought that was something that our village could not handle at that time. And it was during the time that the economy had begun to change, that businesses were starting to close down, and people were starting to lose their jobs. But their feed into that was that we deserve a little bump in our raises. And I just couldn't agree with that little bump of 300%. I've lived in Hazel Crest for 14 years. I'm married to Diane Alsberry. I go to Hillcrest Baptist Church in Country Club Hills. I'm a physical therapist assistant by profession. I was the president of the South-Southwest United Way. I just stepped down, and Reverend Larry Jackson from South Suburban Hospital just took over. I'm also the president of the Regular Democrat organization, and I also teach at Morton College in the physical therapy program. So I'm a pretty busy guy, but I like being busy because I think giving back is what this is all about. This election is critical in the Village of Hazel Crest, and it's critical because it's beginning to changing of the guard from a group that really has the old Chicago politics frame of mind to a group I think that's looking more to look at how can the Southland survive regionally. Because it's no more about Homewood and Hazel Crest and Country Club Hills. Those days are over. Some of our communities will not survive this economic crisis that we're going through. The towns of 6,000, 7,000, I don't see how they can handle it. But police payments and fire departments work, how do you survive in this kind of economy? So when I look at with the candidates that I'm running with, we look at the region and we say that we have to look at things as a consortium. How do we work together with our neighbors to survive? Because we know most of our communities are right across the street from each other. You walk across the street, you're in Homewood, you walk 2 more blocks down, you're in Country Club Hills. And so we have to start dealing with our economic issues as a region. How do businesses come here? Business is not going to come anymore when you have 14,000 people here and 15,000 people here. We need to be able to go together and say, we have 200,000 people that are going to be able to shop at your stores, that's going to come across your doorway, that's going to help your business survive. And we have to market that by saying that we all in this region are going to support that type of effort. That is what we're looking at to do. As I work with United Way right now is looking to put $25 million into our region. And their effort is looking at 3 things: financial stability, education, and health. Because if one of the 3 of those blocks are not in place, then no community is really going to grow. If you're talking about decreasing the dropout rate, kids have to be healthy and not obese. If you're talking about families being able to pay for uniforms to go to school, the parents, at least one of them, have to have a job. So the 3 blocks together, as United Way looked at this, they said 3 blocks together are the blocks that build the communities. And as I heard them roll that out, I realized that's what we all have been talking about for years. How can we keep our kids in school to graduate? How can we bring businesses here so we can have jobs here? And how can we keep our communities safe and healthy? Those are the things we're looking at to do as a Community Conscious Citizens Party in the village of Hazelcrest. We're looking to reach out so that we can survive in this economic crunch and so that we can grow as a community. I was talking to a person the other day, and they were talking about, well, you know, Hazelcrest, we could just hire us a grant writer, and once we hire this grant writer, we can get our own monies in. That's not happening anymore. Even people who give out grants are saying, who are you partnering with? What organization you're a part of that we can take our dollars and give them to you and make sure these dollars are going to be used for the betterment of the community. So when I look at Hazelcrest, and as we look at Hazelcrest as we run, we look at not only Hazelcrest sitting by itself, we look at the region of the Southland. Because the only way we're going to survive is that we work together in the Southland, be able to talk to each other. And the politics have to come down, we're going to have to step down a little bit. Because even the issue of not wanting me to do a training, because it's a place that I work out of, is, you know, you have to look beyond it and look at the bigger picture. And I think that's what we're all about, looking at the bigger picture and how can we survive in the way the economy is going now, and the way the Southland is looking now. We talk about a congressman, and he always says that, you know, when you go north, it's hard to go north and it's hard to go west, but you can always come south because there's no traffic. We need to work to build some type of economic engine so that we can work in our community and that people want to come to our community, spend dollars in our communities. So that's what I'm about. Yes, I'm for Hazelcrest, and I'm about Hazelcrest, and I'm about growth in Hazelcrest. I think Hazelcrest is one of the most beautiful communities out here. But I realize you cannot do this alone. You cannot work alone. And that we need each and every one of you guys, and need to be able to reach out and talk to each one of you guys, and not have a personal agenda. My personal agenda is the citizens of Hazelcrest and the citizens of Southland. It's not about self-service. It's about community service. So thank you for coming out and listening to me, and I hope on April 5th you come out and vote for the Community Conscious Citizens Party, which is Daryl Norman, Veronica Harris, and that you talk to your friends and neighbors in your communities. And I appreciate it, and thanks again, Alan, for helping me out tonight.
Well, you know, before we get going, yeah, I mean, you know, our featured speakers have much more aggressive questioning on.
Okay.
So I do want to ask how it is that Hazelcrest, how do you see that Hazelcrest fits into this broader consortium, as you put it?
Well, the Southland has done things like this before. Certain communities have always worked together in the Southland. When they go down to Washington, D.C., I remember in the past, Richmond Park, Madison, and Liberty Fields, they send out a group together to ask them things they need in the community. Then they go individually. They looked at their region and said, what do we need in our region that we could all fight for together, that we could all ask for together? And so when they go down to D.C., they go down as a group, and they know what they want, they know what they're going to ask for. Now I think Hazelcrest could be a part of that consortium within itself. If we go down to Homewood or Country Club Hills, Markham, or Harvey. But I think the numbers make a difference. And you have to look at what's best for the region. Who has enough land to do something where we can share the benefit what comes here? And I think that's how we can do that.
But you mentioned the two, you know, let's call them the ends. Mm-hmm. I mean, Country Club Hills and Harvey are both wrought with, for lack of a better term, the Chicago way of politics. They've taken money, they've gotten bonds, they've put it into their politicians and things like that. Why would they be inclined to work within this consortium?
Well, I use them as examples.
Okay, no, I just want to...
I use them as examples because, you know, I'm going on the bus. But I use them as examples. But we do have our neighbor in Homewood, which we have a great relationship with Homewood. We do have on the corner of Richmond Park and Olympia Fields. And even though they have, their community is what we call a little high-class community as far as income, they still have issues that they have to deal with daily. And we know the Southland is changing quickly. If you look at the school system, who's moving in, you know, so yes, we can talk with those communities and work. East Hazelcrest is a small community that bounds right by us, very small community. and we can kind of work with them. We can work with them. So those are the communities I'm talking about.
Anybody else?
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
You think an airport would,
I like the airport. I like the airport. Everyone may not agree with it, but I think the airport is a start where we can jump from. We have to start somewhere. We've been working in it for a long time. But yes, I do not have a problem with the airport.
what about fixing that bottleneck across the border?
Well, that takes all of us working together. And what I want to first is a trustee. Those are people.
With that pay increase you all got.
Oh, I didn't get it. And let me tell you what happened.
All the way to Washington DC?
Wow.
Let me tell you about the pay increase. What we've done, and it's been on national news. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but the board that we have there now, which we're a majority by a little hair, we voted to repeal that pay raise. So this election, they will not get that raise. I did not get it. And so with this repeal that we did, we pulled that out and we put it back where it was before. Because one thing I believe is that if your community is suffering and you're the head of your community, then you should be taking the lead. You should take the lead in trying to do something to make a difference. And so what we decided to do, we got to go board, and the No Tax Party voted against it, and the mayor voted against it, that we would take it back to where it was. Because my conscience would not allow us to take $15,000, and all of us are working people, and everyone on that board has a pretty good job. So to take $15,000 out of the community, which is over $100,000, and put it in our pockets, because it would be part of our pay, we thought was wrong. And so what we did, we voted against it, we repealed it, and they will not get that raise after this election. It will not exist anymore. Now the mayor, and one thing we did do when we got elected, when the new board got elected, because I ran for mayor, I lost by 16 votes. But the majority, the party that ran with me, they won, so we took over the majority of the board. The first thing we did was the $15,000, because that money was already passed. So that money was there. But all the board members gave their money back. They gave the $15,000 back in total. And the mayor kept his $30,000, because he can't make them give the money back. But we gave it back and he kept his. So we're trying to do good government.
Is he still mayor?
Oh yes, he is. That's one who's running people against us. That's one who's he's the head of the No Tax Party.
The other question is, what did you do to Sheena?
Yeah, what did you do to Sheena?
The mayor.
No, I'll help Sheena. I'm the one that.
All right. I just want to make sure
Oh, yeah.
that, I'm rooting for the right people. Okay.
No, it was the person that's opposing him.
Opposed.
Gotcha.
Tried to mobilize people against Sheena.
Okay, you just got to vote.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It's a funny story. I was telling
It's not
somebody.
that funny.
Well, another funny story. They were telling me that, you guys should get on board with the No Tax Party. I said, No Tax Party? I said, well, the first thing they did when they got in office, they increased the tax on the gas 3%. They increased on tax on sales $1.50. They gave themselves a $15,000 raise, and then they come back 4 years later and run as a No Tax Party. I mean, and they selling it to people. And I have people say, hey, I want the No Tax Party. I said, oh, so one thing I tell people, and we televised the village board meeting. Now, we started that because he did not want it televised, and we voted to have it televised. And since then, TV has shown his true colors. But the problem is that people still they don't come to the board meetings, and sometimes don't even watch the board meetings. So when somebody tells you they're going to do the No Tax Party, they should be, and living in Illinois, you should know by now, somebody say no tax, they're going to raise your tax. The history you should be aware of. But a lot of people believe that really these are the No Tax Party people, but they are what my guy called them the pay party people. So, that's my spin on that. Any other questions? Well, thanks for having me again. I hope you talk to your friends and neighbors and those who do not know about the No Tax Party and not know the real deal that's going on in Hazelcrest. Please inform them. And again, thank you, and Ellen, continue to do a great job.